Rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Um, okay, guys. Certainly today's been a significant day with the U.S. Embassy opening at 3:30. Lo and behold, if you drop the zeros, that certainly isn't a number that's there by serendipity. Very deliberate and again an occult, significant number in the occult. The 33rd vertebrae, which is the pineal gland, again the third eye, which references the spiritual religion of Ad-Dajjal, Lanatullahi alayhi, the Antichrist. But again, I've been looking out for certain symbolism and numerology today as the day's events unfold. I've always maintained that it's just another example of the Hegelian dialectic. Unfortunately, the Muslim brethren are being led by infiltrators of the occult discipline, and so are the opposing sides as well. And then there's micro arrangements within that as well. But for the purpose of what's been happening today, if you just follow me on this, and I'll just very quickly run you through it. Again, like I said, I just see these patterns emerge. Let's have a very quick look at this. This is quite interesting. Now, it symbolizes Eve. Again, it's two multifaceted. Eve being the Eve of the New Year, and Eve being Eve, as in Adam and Eve. And then the apple again signifies the New York and the falling of the apple, as well as the forbidden fruit. And then you'll see exactly what else it signifies in a second. These going dark references the calendar of the previous year, which is 2017, switching off. But it's multifaceted. This whole animation references three calendars: the Georgian calendar, the Julian calendar, and the Wu calendar, which is the Chinese calendar. And you'll see where I'm going with that. Please remember that. Also, what you'll find is a bunny over here in the foreground, a stag here as well, and then you'll see a calla lily over here, which references the month of spring, right? And now just bear with me, and I'll very quickly run you through what I see in this particular segment of this animation. Okay, first of all, you'll see a volcano and it erupting, and the lava. You see the lava at the bottom of the volcano, and the volcano erupting. Again, like I said, they can induce seismic activity. This references the OC, for me at least, the lunar calendar is being referenced. You see the pound coin underneath this foot, which belongs to Obama in this animation at least. I think references London, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. During this time, and interesting enough, there's been about 18 fissures that have occurred. 18, another significant number, divisions of 6, which is the number of the beast, 666, is what currently is the number of fissures that have actually surfaced with the lava pouring out from it in Hawaii. And I think they're inducing it, and it certainly had a history of the land, liquefaction within the land, and that it's been moving certain feet every year. And now I think through artificial technology, wallahu alam, they're inducing it so that they can create this sort of a landslide, which will then push the water out to the States. But then I think they'll use the submarines with the nuclear technology that they've got to maybe augment and further advance those tsunamis that they're intending to create, which again will tally up with a biblical narrative about the dragon spewing water out of his mouth, and then a crack within the surface of the earth in the States, which would then swallow the water. And I think that crack is going to be so artificially induced as well by all the climatic manipulation that we've seen, at least recently. If you look it up again, the center of the United States has experienced a lot of flooding and a lot of cold weather, which causes the earth to contract and expand. And again, it just makes it more pliable when you want to use technology to induce those sort of earthquakes, which they seem to be doing everywhere. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. If you revert back or recollect the subhanallah, the the economics cover that I shared with you guys for 2017, there was an image of the globe with a crack in it. And we certainly have alluded towards an increase in seismic activity. And again, this is technology that's been refined for a long, long time and will be passed on to a Dajjal when he makes his grand appearance into Alam Wujud. Now, just bear with me and just follow me on this. That's the volcano. Now, what you're seeing is a lotus flower come into existence. Okay, in the occult, the lotus flower signifies rebirth, right? Many other things, but rebirths, and the third eye, the pineal gland. Right? Now, this is a part that's relevant, and it's related to what's been happening today. What you'll see on the ground is the letter W and the U. And then you see the number of windows over here, which are panes, which are 12, which represent the months. I won't discuss to you at length why we believe that this is the case. Again, it would require a long session with you guys, and we don't really have the time for that in this particular instance. Now, I'll show you where, when I said Wu, which is actually the current Chinese calendar we're in. Please don't take my word for it. Look it up on Google and you find out that we're actually in the Wu Chinese calendar right now. And the lunar calendar, the third lunar calendar, which I referenced recently, is what we've just gone past. Now, interesting enough, what we're going to see over here, and you see now what I mean by Wu in a second. At least 55 Palestinians killed by the Israeli troops in Gaza protests as US opens Jerusalem. By the way, it's no accident that she's wearing red and she's wearing white. Again, that's basically the red signifies divinity and the white signifies the purity, right? Which is a process they believe in the occult. They believe that there's a darkness, which is being asleep, and then the awakening, and then you become red, and this is why you'll see the colors red and white significantly worn by the Pope. Again, in context, all these colors have a meaning. Like, for example, he's got blue, red, and white, which is, again, the Union Jack, and what we see the three colonial countries sport on their flags. Those colors are significant to the occult. Red means land or hot, and depending on the context, and blue means water or cold. And then you've got white, which is the divinity when you harmonize the two opposites, which we've discussed at quite a lot of length, being I guess, the crux of their religious doctrines and their beliefs. Anyway, moving on, again, back to the numbers. You've got 55 killed, right, in the bloodiest day in Gaza. Moving on from that, another 5, so 50 and drop to 0. Remember that, less than 50 miles away from Ivanka Trump. So these numbers are deliberate. They put them in there. You didn't need to know that it was 50 miles away, but they do that so that you drop to 0, and so you've got 3 5s now as opposed to the 4 5s we had previously when Netanyahu made that announcement with the occult symbolism in the numerology tied in. Now we've got 3 5s. Let's go back to 3 5s and see what that means. Interesting enough, this is, again, I'm not making it up, right? It's over here, and let's take a look at what 3 5s mean, right? 555, meaning of 5-5 is Wu. And we're in the calendar Wu right now as we speak, and this is what they were referencing. And now what you're going to see is the Baton of Babylon, which is understood to be biblically at least the United States of America, and you've just seen the flag of it torn. What basically means that they themselves are going to stage this. You see those sharks right now in the foreground in the form of waves. And that's what they're intending to induce when we saw that volcano on the apple, on the side of the apple, right, erupting, which is Hawaii right now. It's an island very close to the States, and when it does slide, the landslides, which I referred to today, we should see an excess of, that will push the water along with the submarines, which is signified here, this submarine, and then the shark submarines again, which is the Aquila shark submarines that I've referenced and alluded towards, the Russian ones that are symbolically incorporated into all of this tribe. So they're bringing about these seismic or cataclysmic events through artificial means, and they're inducing them. They're man-made, subhanallah, with the assistance of the shayateen and ins and jinn, of course. But this is what is symbolized. So America is going to go down, and they're going to take it down by themselves, by the way. Certainly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the musibbul asbab, but the asbab and the means are through which the shayateen and ins and jinn are scheming against the ummah. Again, I've referenced how it's being done, subhanallah, in and around the arrival and the exit of this system. I'm very quickly going to just show you something else, which is was a catch today, subhanallah, if I can find it. Maybe not. Documents, download. No, perhaps not. But, we found it, subhanallah. So, in and around this system, this image was taken today. What you see over here in the corner, subhanallah, again, the artificial sun, as far as I'm concerned, our sun is behind it, and this is somewhere above our atmosphere, and it's a solar sun simulator. But what you see over here, subhanallah, is certainly not our moon. Let's take a look at it closer. Okay, that image was taken today, subhanallah, and it's not Photoshop, it's been checked and verified. And that seems to be another celestial body. Again, I have alluded the ulama ikram to Surah Ash-Shu'ara in the Kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which references something being above our horizon, which would render our necks taut, looking up at the heavens in humility. I think this system is here, and they're soon going to basically reveal it and remove all the occulting technology that they've got to hide this system. And during that time, they will stage this false extraterrestrial contact as well, which again is going to be a prelude and to the introduction of a Dajjal, lanatullah, and the conversation and dialogue that they require the Ummah to enter into in order to accept him when he arrives. And that claim will be made that they were our makers and they interceded between the Homo erectus and insan, and created insan through hybridization of their DNA and the DNA of the Homo erectus, and this is how they'll maybe perhaps claim that they are our creators. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Anyway, Jazakallahu khairan wa asuna jazak for your time. I just thought I'd do a quick recap on what's happened today and maybe see how it was related. And again, there you go, it's pretty clear that they were referencing the Wu calendar and that it's going to happen imminently, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Jazakallahu khairan wa asuna jazak for your time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.